Momentum is building in City Center Hagerstown. City government, neighborhoods, businesses, developers, volunteers are all coming together to create positive change in our community. Hagerstown was designated a Main Street, Maryland community in the fall of 2014, providing a framework for all stakeholders and interested partners to organize and focus their efforts towards mutual goals like downtown revitalization, community development, and building pride in our city center. Main Street volunteers are making a visible impact, renewing empty storefronts, adding recycling bins in the downtown, and organizing Second Saturday events to bring the community together. Since 1996, the City of Hagerstown has invested over $18 million into the city center, leveraging over $65 million in private spending. To understand how we're moving forward, it's important to see what we've already accomplished.
The new, improved, and state-of-the-art Washington County Free Library reopened in the fall of 2013. The previous building was demolished, and the new structure is nearly double the size. The number of library patrons has more than doubled, with 2,500 visitors each day. Named for benefactors Alice Virginia and David W. Fletcher, the facility now has private study rooms, a teen center, children's area, and a large community meeting room. The project was made possible through state, county, city, and private funding, and was recognized with Maryland's Sustainable Growth Award for Smart Growth Communities.
The Barbara Ingram School for the Arts opened in the fall of 2009. The City of Hagerstown donated the property, and community legacy funding and state bond funds were also contributed. Nearly 300 students attend this arts magnet high school, studying visual arts, vocal music, theater, dance, creative writing, and instrumental music. The school has a campus feel, with students walking to the library, university classrooms, and space in other downtown buildings. Washington County Public Schools is currently pursuing options to build an academic hub, allowing room for the arts school to grow while offering space for other programs.
The historic Maryland Theater is the anchor of Hagerstown's Arts and Entertainment District and home to the Maryland Symphony Orchestra. In recognition of the theater's 100th anniversary in 2015, the facility underwent several capital improvements, including a new HVAC system, a complete renovation of the intricate plasterwork, and a community-supported campaign for new seats. The theater has received support from private benefactors as well as county and city government. They also received a state bond bill for improvements to the back of the house.
In 2005, the former Baldwin Hotel was renovated and repurposed to become the University System of Maryland at Hagerstown. This downtown center for higher education is comprised of 6 universities that offer over 20 programs. The city donated the property for this $13.5 million project. Adjacent to the main building, you'll find University Plaza, nearly half an acre of urban green space. The $1 million price tag was covered largely by grants, including a significant contribution of $750,000 in community legacy funds.
4 artists are living and creating in City Center. Named the Studios on Nopo, this renovated building now includes 4 loft-style apartments, a restaurant, and a cooperative art gallery. The resident artists pay a reduced rent in exchange for staffing the gallery, which they've named Engine Room Art Space. Its operations are also coordinated by one of the residents. The artists are selected through a competitive process, not based on their art skill set, but by their commitment to growing and promoting the local arts community. The project was funded through city sources, community legacy funds, and corporate grants.
The City of Hagerstown acquired the property at 60 West Washington Street after it was vacated by CVS Pharmacy, with the intention of creating a business incubator. The storefront space was renovated for a retail anchor. The university system leases classroom space in the rear, and the middle of the building is being outfitted as a business resource center, a place where entrepreneurs and small business owners will have a chance to connect with one another and participate in regular informational programming. For a nominal membership fee, users will have access to meeting space, business resources, and administrative functions. This project, over $1 million, was funded through a community legacy grant along with federal and city contributions.
The City of Hagerstown has supported the City Center by acquiring underutilized properties, removing barriers to development, and responsibly returning the property to the private sector. 4353 West Washington Street is located across from the University System of Maryland. The Potomac Bead Company is an anchor retail tenant, but the property also had vacant upper floors and another dilapidated storefront space. In the first phase of improvements, the city demolished the rear of the building and abated asbestos, then rebuilt the rear wall and put a new roof on the single-story wing. In the next phase, additional interior renovations will be made, including a pedestrian walkway and a restored storefront space. The improvements were funded through community legacy grants, community development block grant funds, and other city sources.
170 West Washington Street was purchased for $27,000 in 2013 to protect the neighborhood, including the adjacent church and private school. The city demolished the hotel portion and made improvements to the Romanesque Revival building at the downtown gateway. This included repairing the roof and front porch structure, replacing the windows, and repainting the exterior. Community legacy and city sources fund the project.
City-owned property is responsibly returned to the private sector through the competitive negotiated sale process. Through this competitive application and review process, the city ensures the highest and best use of the property for the community. All properties are advertised for sale on the city website.
Downtown Hagerstown is the most highly incentivized area for development in Washington County. In addition to state incentives, the city is able to offer programs like Partners in Economic Progress, which provides a fast-track review and permitting process, property tax credits, and rent assistance to help attract tenants. The city will pay half the rent, up to $1,000 for 2 years. In 2013, the city started offering the First Third grant, committing to be the first third of funding for development projects, up to $250,000 in City Center. Recently, the city also created a retail and restaurant incentive. Given current and upcoming budget constraints, staff is exploring options for further funding.
Now, the City of Hagerstown and our partners are moving forward with a Community City Center plan, a roadmap for downtown development over the next 10 years. It projects $125 million in new investment, with 75% of the funding coming from the private sector and the remainder being contributed by all levels of government. Thanks to a $100,000 state grant, the plan was drafted by Urban Partners, who spent over 130 hours collecting feedback from the community through interviews, focus groups, public meetings, and online input. While the plan outlines 8 catalytic projects, they are intended to build on the synergy created by other development endeavors and downtown organizations.
One of the first projects in the plan was completed in 2015, student housing to support the expansion of USMH. In just 4 months, an old 19-room boarding house was transformed into 4 modernized units with 2 bedrooms and 2 bathrooms each. The city, USMH, and the developers team worked cooperatively to get the project completed quickly, in time for students to move in at the start of the school year. USMH now has a master lease with the developer, and the city and USMH will provide rent guarantees if there are any vacancies within the first 5 years. The city supported this pilot project with a grant of $340,000. The Community City Center plan includes student housing opportunities for 24 students. The city will also support the growth of the university system from 500 to 750 students through the creation of new programs.
Concepts are in the works for a new trail that will connect City Park and the Washington County Museum of Fine Arts with the Arts and Entertainment District, 2 significant Hagerstown destinations. The city is working with property owners to secure easements for the trail and gathering feedback from the community regarding public art, features, and amenities along the trail.
The city is in talks with a private developer to explore the creation of Class A office space, which would be built on the central parking lot in City Center. The project would make the downtown more competitive with the new development occurring on the outskirts of the city.
The Community City Center plan also supports expanded homeownership programs in targeted neighborhoods. The city recently purchased 2 homes along historic South Prospect Street. Community legacy funds helped acquire 1 home that was owned by the state and scheduled to go to a tax sale. After improvements are made, these will be sold through the competitive negotiated sale process for a single-family home ownership opportunity. The city has been able to offer interest-free loans to grants as incentives for more home ownership throughout Hagerstown. The programs have proven successful with significant participation. Staff is now exploring additional funding sources to continue these offerings in the future.
Together, we're changing our community, changing experiences, perspectives, and changing how we work collectively towards our shared success. There's a role for everyone to play. Become part of Main Street Hagerstown. Visit the website to learn more about how you can help move our city forward.